Huko na mimi nikikwambia I work with a cabal of haters who really recommended you for this episode.
You know,
Manze,
everything from your name is satirical. So now that we are talking about family,
yes,
it's important to say, you hear that blood is thicker than water, but thick things can also choke you, all right?
Yes.
Okay? And you need to know that when it comes to family, don't just stop at blood. Go on to chemistry.
Okay.
We could be family, but we are enemies. In fact, the first murder was committed in the family, courtesy of the Bible.
Yes.
And another day I'll tell you that men usually kill each other, all right?
Yes.
There was sons of that family, but the story is generally quiet. So when it comes to family, it's okay to respect that we are connected by blood. But those are just accidents of ancestry. Don't take them too far. Don't take them too far.
Yes.
It's okay that we come from the same place. There's a responsibility I have. So I want to enumerate to you what you shall do with your family of origin is where you are born.
Yes.
Family, nuclear family is the family you form. And the family you form is always more important than the family of origin. It shall come first when there's a conflict.
Yes.
Man shall leave father and mother and cleave to
yes,
wife. Be one.
Yes.
So leaving does not mean abandoning, but it means detaching and individuating.
Yes.
And I want to announce to men that if you never outgrow your parents, that's what we call mama's boy or baba's boy, and you don't deserve to marry any other woman when you still have your mother as the woman.
Thank you for the clarification. I thought by outgrowing you meant becoming older than your parents.
To outgrow means to get
yes,
out under their control, under so much of their power. There yes, comes a time that you begin to call your own shots and to pay your own bills. I don't allow a man past 25 to continue living in the same room with a mother, and you're talking with a girl late in a bedroom that your father is in the same house.
Oh, unless you're an Indian, of course.
Culture. Exactly. In our culture, you need to have developed enough so that we can see what you're made of. You see, the way you set up your family, your house shows us what you're made of. How you dress, how you set your car, how you set your young men. Many of them, unless you inherit, they don't start with cars. They just start with hustling. So the way you set your house tells us how you think. Yes. So family, when you are young, when you're starting out life, family is what you're starting. Where you're coming from, your brothers, your sisters, and your parents should not dictate who you shall marry. In Kenya, you hear parents swearing, hapa kwangu pasiolewe kabila fulani. You hear them swearing that you should not marry, and then they're already married or not married. They're done with their turn.
Yes.
You need to demarcate the authority of parents and to know when they have overstepped their mandate. You should not allow a parent to dictate who you shall marry.
But it's written in the Bible, children obey your parents.
You're not a child anymore. You're a child up to 18. From the time you begin to call your own shots, this time is not a child. You honor, not obey. Children shall obey. Adults honor. To honor is to acknowledge. I recognize your existence. That's about it all.
That's where it starts.
Thank you, my dad. And I had to tell you that I'm getting married. And I'm married from, where's that girl from? Yeah, she's from, man, I don't want people from that. You see, you're saying they should not be married into your home. I'm not marrying into your home. I'm marrying my own.
Okay, Sawa. Then this begs the question of, does this mean that children don't owe their parents anything? Because we talk of ulinipeleka school fees, you raised me, you did this, you did that. Does it mean that they do not have a responsibility over their parents in that regard? Be
careful with the word children. I want to demystify that word. Be very careful. Okay, Kiswahili is limited. Unasema mwana ama mtoto. But here we are saying a son or daughter can be an adult.
Yes.
Once you become an adult, the responsibility you have to your parents is to help them and take care of them to the best of your ability without breaking your back. Are we together?
Oh, so it's actually legal. You can tell your parents you don't have money.
Exactly. It is allowed to say I can't go beyond this.
Ah, okay.
It's allowed, and you should not. In fact, and I warned people, once you begin to do things your parents never did, don't seek their advice. They'll mislead you.
Okay.
If you're trying to manage $1 million and they never saw 10,000, Dad, I have $1 million here. What do you think you should do? He will advise you to open a butchery at home. Then you eat all the meat. Tell you they did not buy the meat, so you just ate it. The piece of portion meal here, and there's nothing going. They just cook ugali the unga. So yes. I tell people it's okay to respect your parents, honor them, but please also remember their limitations. They're your parents, but they're not super beings. There's a where they went, where they don't go. Also acknowledge their failures.
Okay, so it means that if I'm getting you correctly, obey your parents until up to the point where they actually push you towards things you don't like.
Obey your parents under two conditions. One, when you're a child. After you become a child, listen to advice and make your own choices.
Choose what?
Let them advise you, but finally make your choice.
Okay, so when it comes to relationships defined as family based on chemistry, we do not have blood ties. We only have a few things in
Yes,
common.
we are bound by blood, but we are not friends necessarily. So when it comes to collaboration, collaborate with your friends. He's my brother, but he's my friend. It's my sister, but you get along. We collaborate. We think on the same level. Because we are brothers and sisters, you can't see eye to eye. Don't force it. Don't force it. Flow, man. Don't even build in your father's compound. By the way, can you warn men? Stop dragging your woman into another woman's territory. Women are territorial. But get out. Get your woman a place so that, you know when you bring them same compound, you start hearing funny cases. Kuku yako ilichapa kuku yangu, alafu sufuri yangu ikakanyangwa na mtoto wako hata. You begin hearing funny cases, and whenever your wife comes in and goes, your mother is counting how many times today she walked out.
Yes.
Women have dignity of their own space. So encouragement, as much as possible, start in your own small space alone, some distance away. Okay, we have families who build family empires, and they have the houses in the same compound, and they want you to inherit one of the houses. I ask men to be very careful. And most of those men who marry from higher social status, when you marry from a higher social class than you, I acknowledge your ambition. From Roysambu to Runda, you live in Runda, but you marry in Runda.
Yes.
But please recognize the culture you find there. One of the guys married into a family empire like that, it was him who became an adopted son. Because the family he has married into has businesses and all people work there with their spouses, and you are paid by the patriarch.
But are you saying in this case that it's okay for a woman to marry into a rich family, but it will be disastrous for a man to marry a woman?
It is not disastrous if you do your mathematics and you agree with the woman that you're still going to be independent individuals. Because many powerful families is the person on the top, the matriarch or the patriarch, who calls the shots.
Yes.
And they have a meeting. There's a family dinner every Sunday evening, and it's compulsory. And the muzee takes 10 minutes to kuzomea all of you how childish you are in front of your wife. How did you spend that money? And you have to apologize.
But you cannot talk because you cannot afford it.
Now, that failure to afford is fear. It's not failure. It's fear. So you are afraid of getting away from the empire that he has built. There comes a time if he's diminishing your self-esteem, your respect as a man, your courage, break away.
Okay.
Can we ask men never to trade their dignity, their self-respect, their self-esteem for anything? For anything. If your father built a thing, but he's not allowing you to learn on your own, go start zero on your own. Sometimes these fathers dictate everything because they are built. If they can give you an inheritance to something to start life, appreciate it, but never trade your dignity. Do not be insulted in front of your woman by anyone, even your father.
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. But then when you come to in times when you are in trouble, how do you identify people that you can know that this person can stand with me in my lowest moment?
All right. So let's now come to nuclear family. I've told you how to handle extended family.
Yes.
You shall collaborate with those whom you have chemistry, connection. You understand each other.
Yes.
All right. But if you have a brother whom you don't talk, but is on track, those brothers who just care, but they have children, please pay fees for the children so that the family, at least they're not beggars. Don't succeed alone because you never enjoy it. They will paint your name badly. They will see you on TV. That guy, this is a brother. That guy ignored us. So as much as possible, those useless men, try to assist them to marry sense. He's senseless, but you should marry a woman in sense, so that using the woman, you can educate the children.
The equation.
Make sure there's a house there, somewhere they can sleep. If he's a brother, find a way to help so that the children are innocent. I ask people to be careful, but don't neglect, because after 10 years, they will be poor and thieves. They will just be troubling you. You never enjoy life. Actually, you never have peace when you know this is my brother's children. But when it comes to nuclear family, never. But nuclear family starts with your wife, all right?
Yes.
It starts with girlfriend. Let me come closer.
Yes.
These guys
There's a difference between girlfriend and wife.
Yes, but they evolve from each other, all right? You get a girlfriend, then evolve it to a wife. But please don't live with a girlfriend in the same house.
Why?
Do not live with a woman before you marry her.
What wakeyuka hawa? This is for you. Why?
Because dating is interview. And if you start living with a person, it's like you're being interviewed 24/7. Even when
then it means this is a practice. They should, if they pass the interview, it means you can live with them forever. Why would you want to find
when
out
you go
more
for
about them as
interview,
a surprise?
when you go for interview, we dress up and you brush your teeth. But if the interviewers are examining you, even when your breath is stinking in the morning, and how you are sleeping at night, and the weird sounds people produce, and the way you don't even, you need space. Let me tell you, interview does not mean faking. It means examining a person with the freedom to leave or come. And I want to warn men to leave university students alone. Don't date university girls. They're not yet 25. And their brain and their personality solidifies at 25. You don't know who you're dealing with if she's 23. First, she's very unstable. She gets overwhelmed easily. She gets excited easily. She's do you know microwave? I call those girls microwave.
18 to 25, no go zone.
25 and 24 and below, leave those girls alone.
No go zone totally.
If you love your sanity, leave those girls alone.
Even if they've been raised in church, even if they know Jesus.
It's about their developmental stage. It's not about their spirituality. In fact, many of them are spiritual because they were colonized into spirituality by their parents. They were forced to pray, forced to go to church. One day she'll go and say, what is this? I don't even know what it is. They're still exploring. And I want to ask women to leave men under 30 alone.
So I should be single as in legally, by morality, I should be single.
I want to ask, men, their brain matures at 25, their personality begins to show, but men go through another, generally 5-year cycle of exploration. Okay. The club type goes party after party.
Okay.
They go partying, experimenting, and then his cat is a good cat. Anything female, they just look at it. The testosterone is reigning supreme.
So, kindly confirm this again. Men before the age of 30 and women under the age of 25 are allowed to be sinners. Just confirm.
They don't need permission. They are restless. They are restless. They don't know who they're becoming. The biggest thing with women is women and their emotional life, they are so intertwined that almost it's engulfed in how they feel. So girls 24, 23, 22, 21 are erratic.
Okay, then if men under 20, as in above 29, above 30, are mature and are ready for marriage and are ready for everything, life and everything.
And not all of them.
I would have asked you to explain Willis Rabu.
This is a sequence of development. Once your brain has matured, it gives you ability to think, but not everybody uses it. Not everybody thinks straight. Not everybody learns. Some people never learn at 60. And we are saying human behavior usually follows patterns, but it's not cast on stone. You can find a few people married under 25 or under 30, and they got it well. But there's so few, and those are the ones who have been learning constantly under mentorship and coaching by their mentors or fathers or parents. And there's so few. It's like crossing River Limpopo on a rope, and you can't prescribe that as a means of transport.
Okay, thank you. In which case, I'd love to hear your definition. This is one of my favorite questions. Then how do you tell that a woman is ripe for your ripeness over 30?
3 things. 3 things. Just check 3 things. Other things are, 1, virtuous. Virtue means, does she have the wife quality of being honest, stable? Does she look composed? These qualities are so rare to get. I don't want you to be confused by charisma and charm and shape and beauty and slay and atmosphere. That's what men look at. A girl who slays.
What else are we supposed to look at? You can't post virtue on Instagram. You cannot post
So I want a woman with character. When I say virtue, I simply mean a woman whom you can say she's honest. A girl who is lying, a woman should, virtuous girls don't ask for money. That's a very simple definition. And they don't need to be sent fare to come. And that fare does not mean she's coming to your house. That is not dating, that is nonsense. Don't sleep with a woman whom you intend to marry. You are teaching her what you do, and she will never trust you because she knows your capacity. If you are serious with a woman, don't take her to bed. Examination is not done in bedroom, it's done in boardroom.
So if you're dating, you have cancelled all the options. Where do we meet?
We meet in hotels. We meet on video calls. We meet in public places where you can see people in the right behavior. Once a woman shows you her thighs and her chest, your thinking switches off. You can't even examine her when you're seeing her body. Some are slay, the body is glowing, but there's no character. The container is so decorated, but the content is missing. You cannot see the real character if you're thinking with the thing between your legs. You need the thing between your ears.
So if you meet a girl, and you're 29, if you actually start dating a girl when you're 29 and she's 24, you should actually wait for 5 years.
Don't choose a woman when she's under 25. You don't know her. It's an egg. She's yet to hatch. Egg, lava, pupa, maggot. This is a maggot.
And this is standard. Sawa. Back to standing with you in terms of your friends?
All right. So we're saying your nuclear family, your wife and your children, those are your go-to people. You're going to court, you're going to cultivate that friendship and loyalty and presence at all costs. Those are the guys who can go down with you. But they don't go down with you when you neglected them. You invest. It's the man who leads. I wish this was man talk, but we need another day for man talk. It's the guy who sets the pattern. You know meal time? Kingori, meal time is a must. Eating time, start it early. Even if you live in Mombasa, have a regular visits time where you guys can just be you and your woman. Then when the child arrives, even if you're not talking, call her up and ask men to learn to call their women 3 times like painkiller. 1 times 3. Morning, noon. Even if she's quiet, call over the quietness.
Na wakati ya kukuwa na simu, kwani how are they surviving?
They used other means. They used other means. Today we are not there. And those people keep confusing. Our parents married at 18. I tell you, this is a problem. If you want, one of the things that happened in our generations past is that women were suppressed and their potentials were ignored and they were made the subject of men. That the society was patriarchal and women had no voice and she was just had to be seen and used and she was not to be heard. No wonder so few women became anything. So few. Those who became anything, either to divorce or never to marry. So today, it's our potential that matters. And the reason we are that word, Kingori, is because we waste our potential. University students, they're graduating pregnant. Can you imagine? Says a government, just stupidity. You should have developed your potentials first.
But you have graduated as a mother.
You should have first of all graduated as, how did Zuckerberg invent Facebook? While in the university. Yes. Look at the guys who changed the world. They started with experimentation, pushing for their potential. Our stupid university students are living in each other's rooms today. Doing nothing, crying all the night. Oh, did not talk to me. Oh, can abandon me. Stupid, get out. Go experiment with your potentials. These guys who can't afford their own underwear are busy talking to a girl, buying a lollipop of 10 shillings, promising her something you also don't know. But then let me announce to men, after you graduate, it average takes you about 10 years to stabilize financially.
Before you make money.
Yes. Stop promising, oh, baby, there's this future. Oh.
So that's where people make mistakes. You date before you stabilize financially.
And exactly. And then you promise something you do not know.
And if you date when you're already financially stable, aren't you setting yourself up for a trap of someone loving you for your money?
We don't mean wealthy, because you need the woman again to shape you up to be wealthy. Most men are scattered. If the money comes, when he has no discipliner, those women are the one who organize you. The man will be scattered and busy. Look at men who become slaves, who become things without women. They're scattered. So we mean when you have financial foundation, okay, you have marketable skills. Either you have a job or there's something you can sell and pay salon for the girl, pay rent. You have basic financial foundation. You have marketable skills. And remember, 60% of Kenyans don't practice the degree they studied. Okay? Yes. So 60% of people have another journey after they graduate to find themselves. They came for this degree because their uncle advertised it. The CPA is very good. Go do CPA, go do BCom.
I've been advocating against that, sana, the education system and what it makes of people. If 60% is a number you cannot ignore, then what does this mean?
It means we should have started with the personality testing. We should have started by telling kids that please study yourself before you choose any career. You don't make it famous. I mean, career does law have market? Is it marketable? It's about whether you love it. Your heart matters more than your head. Did you realize getting grade A is sometimes a curse more than a blessing? Yes, because it makes it possible to do any degree. And now you are lost for choice. And now you are confused. You never listen to your heart. You only listen to your head. I did law myself, but I could tell law is only a starting point. It's not my staying point. And many of us were lost and confused because this family only do the big five, you know. You come from medicine or law, engineering, Joseph, architecture, you know. But that's not you. You simply wanted to be a comedian. Joker. You're talking about jokes. This family are jokers.
So it's safer to get a D- who back in a catering
get the best. I found that most girls, I was looking for a girl of C myself quietly.
Looking for a girl?
Of C+. I was just looking for a degree. I just looked for basic degree.
For what? To marry?
A wife. When I was looking, I was careful.
Oh, you vetted your wife based on high school
I could not say it, but some things you don't say. You just know them. Okay. You don't say them. I had interacted with the airplane. I have no problem with the airplane girls. They are very bright. But I realize many of them don't cultivate the character. They just operate on their brilliance and that's all. They hate cooking. They hate, I don't wash anybody's thing. But I wanted a practical wife, my friend. Some have an activist. You can't marry an activist. Whatever a man can do, how man can do it. We are bringing something to the table. Let us split in value. We listen. We cooperate with them publicly for political purposes. But in private, we all know we want a practical wife.
But you yourself mentioned that in the past, these marriages worked or may have been thought to have worked because women were oppressed. So it would come across as you are a supporter of women empowerment. So women empowerment is also
I'm
a
big advocate of women being empowered and pursuing their dreams. But I'm also a big advocate of a woman being comfortable in her position as a wife. If she has chosen to get married, marriage is not compulsory. You can live alone. So don't marry a man to torture him. If you hate the position of a wife, don't fake so that I marry you, then you torment me by refusing everything. Refusing everything that a wife is supposed to do. Yes. Think soberly. Are you willing to yield? Submission means to yield, to give way, to be comfortable with their position. And the wise women know that submission is a position of power. Once you know the man, men are so vulnerable. They're so easy to read. Men are straight lines. Men are patterns. They live on patterns. There's a way he breathes when he's comfortable.
If you think about it, men are a straight line.
Yes. Women are the ones who are zigzag and spiral. They change. So sometimes she's crying. What are you crying? How are you feeling? I don't know. She also doesn't know why she's crying.
Exactly.
Yes.
Sawa. Before I let you go, then with that wealth of information that you have in as far as personalities and human beings are concerned, how do you choose your friends?
Oh, I choose my friends because of one word, but it has 3 languages. One, do we vibe? Do we have a rhythm? Are we of the same in spirit? In those who are religious, they call it, are we of the same spirit? Those who are science, they call it, are we of the same frequency or energy? But street, they call it vibe. Get a person with whom you vibe. We talk until after our conversation, I'm thinking for the next few hours, thinking about what we say. So my friends evolve as I evolve, okay? Learn to retire friends when they become stale. Okay. They only contact you to borrow money. Only contact you, and they start by complaining. Hujanipigia siku nyingi. Those people start by complaining about, I tell, excuse me, can you start on a positive vibe? Now that we are talking, how are you, man? Call me, I call you. If we are busy, it's okay.
Okay.
So you need a person whom you flow. Friendship is about one, we vibe. Number 2, they challenge you to level up. You need a friend who is in some way, they are better than you. Maybe in family they are ahead, another career you are ahead of, but there's some way they force you to level up. You can ask them advice about something. If all your friends are feeding on you, you'll be depleted. You need friends who feed you. It needs to be mutual. And I want to warn people, once you hit that thing, break away from all mentors.
When you say retire friends, it's like, makes it sound like you have friends on contract. Like you'll be my friend for 2 years, after which...
No, life is a journey, and I don't know how faster you're growing. I could be growing faster than you. Maybe now I'm aiming higher, you are satisfied. Once you stop rhyming, we don't need to sing a goodbye and have a burial ceremony for our friendship. We just talk less and less. The higher you go, King Ori, the more you don't need a group of friends. You need a grade of friends, a certain kind of people.
Oh.
It's a pyramid. It becomes fewer the higher you go because you are busier. You only have a time for talking to one buddy. On that week, we only talk to 2 guys. University folks are so idle. They band in groups, group party after party. But the more you evolve, you don't have time for party after party.
There's a name for that, uko mtaani, inaitwa Maringo.
You can call it maringo, it's okay. But those people of power, they call it selective association. So you begin to select who, because energy is a thing. If I listen to your nonsense, it gets into me too. If every day you have a dull drama, boy drama, baby mama drama, and every time I have to assist you with it, every time I'm caught in the drama, everybody has a whirlpool of drama going around there. Pick the ones, everybody will make you suffer. So choose the ones who are ready, worthy to suffer for. Everybody you bring in your life will bring you some pain. Choose the ones who are worthy suffering for. So I want a person who has as least drama as possible. And I want to, if you are aspiring to get married and all your boys are girl players, you're not serious. Sometimes guys go in a gang, in a club, or the club type go to clubs, the church type goes to church, the fellowship. So sometimes I want you to migrate from fellowship, because fellows are thinking too small. 12 spies believed in God. Only 2 believed in themselves. Remember, the 10 thought they were grasshoppers, but the 2 thought they were able to conquer. Not every Christian is progressive. Some are waiting to be taken to heaven.
Wow. I think I couldn't have put it any better. Benjamin, hii information inatoka wapi yote? Experience ama kusoma?
Passion. When you find what you belong into.
Passion. And what thing other than the devil kwa hii dunia imekukasirisha na binadamu that desire?
That they ignore their potential to run after love. True fulfillment doesn't come from sex or drugs. It comes from performing the thing you are called to do. Value. Ask all young people in the universities. First, lay hold of your calling. Pursue your gifts. Develop your potential. Try business. Try developing website. Try that thing in you. Dedicate 3-4 years until you're 25 to it before you tell anybody, I love you too.
Wachana na hii mambo ya certificate ati mimi nimesomea hii and this is what
certificates are all over here. People are tamaking certificates. Some of us have 3 or 4 of them, and they don't guarantee anything. It's what is the uniqueness. You told me I was recommended here by other people. They saw my work. Okay, let me finish with this. We say there's a problem in unemployment in Kenya. I disagree. We don't have unemployment. We have unemployability. Useless, lacking work ethic and disciplined youth. Kingori, you have tried to build a latrine at home or to repair your mother's roof at home. To get one fundi who is reliable, to fence your home is difficult.
So it's a people problem.
It's
employability.
Today you ask for interview, people show up late quoting traffic jam. Our youth, they lack work ethic. In the university, they don't study. They drink and rave over weekends. They sleep until 11 a.m. They live. They're not disciplined. They play music, loud music, and partying and shouting. And they read 2 weeks to exam. They make more Kenya.
Punguzeni volume. Benjamin, you are such a vibe, Maze. We could spend the whole night talking about this, but otherwise, asante sana, and thank you for honoring our invite. Asante sana, you are an honorable man, a timekeeper, and a respectable gentleman. Asante sana, and we hope to have you again and again.
Asante.
Sawa. That's it for the weekend edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.